Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a marvelous evening. Okay, I hope your day went well. Um, Today, we're going to do a little tech talk. Okay. One of the things that I've been noticing ever since everyone has gone online, transitioned to online learning, is that a lot of teachers are starting to do, Zoom meetings, right? And so Zoom is now the thing. So all I want to do is zoom, and the boom, boom. All right, no, but no, everybody is zooming right now, and I know that there has been a situation with the Zoom bombers and people hacking into different Zoom meetings, and there has been for my district for my campus rather I have posted directions on how to change the settings in the Zoom so that we can avoid those type of hackers. However, that's not what I'm trying to get at today. Today, what I'm trying to get into is asynchronous and synchronous learning. Okay. Before I dive into that, I do want to give Miss Debbie Vincent a shout out. She actually did a phenomenal self-paced training on this asynchronous and synchronous learning. This is her layout. I am not going to go into depth into the entire training. However, I do just want to touch on some vital things that I feel that are pertinent to what teachers need to know in terms of organizing and actually like delivering their online classroom. Okay. Um, when it comes to Zoom, let's go back to Zoom. It's cool, right? It's a cool tool to use for video conferencing and stuff like that. It's cool. However, here's the thing. If I'm a new student, if I'm a student that's new to online learning, right? Let's say I'm student A, I'm new to online learning. We just did this transition. I have one device at home. Not only that, I have certain things that is happening with my family with the whole COVID pandemic. And right now, my teacher, she wants me to, every Wednesday, she wants me to log on to Zoom to this live meeting. Also on Wednesdays, my brother, he's in school too, and his teachers, demands the same thing. And on top of that, this is my math teacher who wants me to do this on Wednesday, right? On top of that, on Thursday, not on Thursday, sorry, on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, I have another teacher, my English teacher. She wants me to log in to Zoom as well and do a live meeting session. Now, I miss my teacher, so it's cool to see them online. However, I am tired. I'm tired, and then I have other people in my home who are in need of this device that I'm using. So, is there a way where I could still do my work, still conference with my teacher, and not necessarily be online at that particular time? Only because I have other things that's going on in my household. Pause. Okay, so that's one situation. All right. Situation number two. Um, just me myself. I'm an instructional technologist. I have meetings um, every every day. I'm having a meeting, and it's sorry guys, my kids again. But going back to what I was saying, every day I have a meeting. Right. I'm zooming with someone. I'm tired. Okay. Um, for me personally, like the Zoom meetings, yes, they are beneficial. However, they also can be recorded, you know. And I'm the type of learner who does things is where it's like I can go in and like look at the self-paced portion, especially with the situation that's happening now. Uh, Needless to say that Zoom live features of Zoom, they may work for some, they may not, work for most. Okay. one of the things that I want to tap into for this tech talk is I want to talk about how there is a time for live Zoom or live conferences. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be Zoom, but there's a time for live conferences. Okay, however, teachers, we need to start thinking about what is the best delivery method for students. Okay, and so Miss Debbie Vincent, she provided synchronous and asynchronous learning, right? And so what she gets into with this asynchronous and synchronous learning is, I'm just going to click to the definition of it. So she has this video. So let's play this video. So, as she stated, asynchronous and synchronous learning can be online, okay? They both can work in an online setting, right? Now, if we look at the pros and cons of asynchronous and synchronous learning, this is some of the things that we should think about. And I'm not going to go through the whole entire video, but we're just going to look at some things, okay, with the pros and cons. And this is synchronous learning.
Synchronous learning involves online studies and learning through video conferencing. With synchronous learning, learning is in real time. Students are able to ask questions and teachers are to answer questions instantaneously.
Okay, so I'm not going to go into the whole entire video, but one of the things that we have to understand with synchronous learning is that it's real time learning, right? And as you see in the video with the instructor and the instructor is talking directly to the student and is actually he has a whiteboard that he's doing a demonstration on. This is perfect. Okay. This is perfect. This is good. This is ideal, especially for a conference and for something that a student may not get a concept of. This is perfect. Okay. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to skip to the pros and cons of where Debbie actually pinpoints. Okay. So let's skip to that. And let's see. All right. She's able to ask those questions at that time. Back it up, please. Okay. In the example that we just watched, you see the instructor and a student discussing a math problem. They are both connected via the computer. The instructor is able to demonstrate solving a problem and show the thinking behind the process. And the student is able to respond live to the instructor's question. If the student has a question, she's able to ask those questions at that time. There are pros and cons to using a synchronous session. Okay, pause it here because, let's go ahead and just read it through. So the pros of synchronous learning is that learners can easily interact with instructors and other learners. It takes time and real place. If your learners are having trouble, they can ask questions and get answers, and then students feel less isolated. Okay, and so let's skip to the cons. To look at the pros of synchronous learning. All right, so the cons of synchronous learning, it says synchronous learners have to be online at a certain time. Okay, learners can't access content where and when they like, and then some learners may feel they are not receiving the individual attention they need. And then lastly, the effectiveness of how well your learners understand the course content depends on the instructor. Okay, so let's look at both ends, right? So if you look at the pros of synchronous learning and then the cons of synchronous learning, we have a handful of both. Okay. With the pros, when I go back, it says learners can easily interact with instructors and others, takes time in real place, blah, 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 takes time in real place. If your learners are having trouble, they can ask questions and get answers, and students feel less isolated. This is cool. I would suggest this type of learning, the synchronous learning, is when you are, of course, in an online setting. I would suggest this when you are covering new material. You've already did like a pre-recorded lesson, okay, that you taught, and all you have to do is just upload the recorded lesson. You have like discussion questions about it or whatever, or like a self-paced activity. Now, if students during that self-paced activity is when you should be able to pinpoint if some students are getting what you taught. Then, if you're able to see which students who aren't mastering the concept or who aren't getting it, I would then suggest synchronous learning. And this that way you can like pull them into like a conference, right? Like a Zoom conference. Let's say if it's like about 10 kids, you have a class of 30. Let's say if it's like 10 kids who are not getting it, or it's like 15 kids who aren't getting it, right? You can always do a split, right? Okay, this group of kids, I'm going to meet with you all on this day, or what day will be best for you all, okay, for group A, what day will be best for you all. Give them a list of groups to pick from so that they can do a Zoom together, so y'all can do a Zoom together, sorry. And then group B, what day would be best for y'all so we can all do a Zoom together. That way we don't necessarily have to worry about is everyone online. As far as like it being in real time, you're working with those students who need that one-on-one support with the instructor, right? Okay. And so I feel that during that time, synchronous learning can be of a great benefit, right? And students wouldn't necessarily feel left out. Now, for the ones who are getting it, you could have like maybe like some discussion questions or just like a quick check in, like, hey, how's everything going via message on your learning management or through your learning management system. However, like I said, synchronous learning, I'd highly suggest should be of more of a conference type deal versus being like whole group. Okay. So if you're going to do a live session, I would say just do it via conference where you have a small setting versus, online. I mean, whole group online. Okay. Um, Now, if we go to synchronous learning, let's go to the next slide. Asynchronous, I do apologize. Now, these are the tips and tools that she has.
Asynchronous learning can be carried out even when the student is offline. Coursework is delivered via web, email, and message boards that are then posted online. Students ideally complete the course at their own pace.
All right. So she gave an example. She talks about how the coach posted a lesson and gave a time for them for students to complete it. Okay, so that would be asynchronous, right? And so it says asynchronous e-learning can be carried out even while the student is offline. Coursework is delivered via web, email, and message boards that are then posted online. Students ideally complete the course at their own pace. Okay. So, in this, again, COVID-19 has a lot to do. Well, COVID-19 is the reason why everyone has moved online, right? And of course, it's an abrupt change. It's an abrupt transition, right? Um, Asynchronous learning, I would highly suggest this because everybody home situation is different. It's different. Everybody home situation is different, right? You may have some homes where they may have 4 or 5 devices, or maybe like 3, 4. A lot. They have a lot of devices at home. Then you have some who may not have any, or may have one device. So getting online during that live session may be hard for them to do. But let's continue to listen to what Debbie has to say.
In asynchronous e-learning, learning can be carried out even while the student is offline.
I'm going to skip to this example. Now let's look at a short example of an asynchronous.
So we're discussing compound, simple, and complex sentences. We've been discussing clauses, independent clauses. A simple sentence contains just one main clause or independent clause, a complete thought.
Because I'm going to go ahead and skip to the pros. I'm going to go back right about here. All right. So I keep forgetting that we all can read. And so we don't necessarily have to listen to Miss Debbie. But thank you, Miss Debbie. We really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. So the pros of asynchronous learning. So asynchronous learning offers lots of flexibility. Learners can go at their own pace and access their course at any time, right? Asynchronous learning means learners can engage in courses regardless of their location. And then also, asynchronous learners have more time to reflect on content material than they are learning. Sorry. Okay, and so let's look at the cons. So it says answer to questions cannot be given in real time. Asynchronous learners can sometimes feel isolated. Asynchronous learning is learner centered. Okay, so although these are the cons that comes with asynchronous learning, one of the things that I always suggest for teachers who are who have a class online is to make sure that you are communicating effectively with your students. Okay, you must check in. You must check in with them. It could be as simple as a discussion board. Okay, or it can be as simple as just sending a message. Okay, making sure that your students have some type of communicative connection, or they can reach you. Okay, um, making sure that you're available, right? You want to make sure that you give yourself at least 24 hours to whatever questions that they may have that they may have asked you, right? You want to make sure that you return their questions, answer their questions within 24 hours, right? Because when they're doing the self-paced learning, it's like, okay, they're teaching themselves and they're going at their own pace, right, with your material. And so they may have questions, and they want to have that question answered. Also, with the material, it's one thing to be communicative, effectively communicate, sorry, but it's another thing with your material. You want to make sure that your material has clear directions on what you want them to do or what you want them to learn, okay, in an asynchronous learning environment. All right. You want to make sure you need to make sure that your directions are clear, right, and concise. You don't want to give them too much, right? You do want to chunk it. You do want to chunk it, but you need to make sure that your directions are clear and deadlines. Okay, making sure that you give them a deadline, right? So they know that they're working at their own pace, and then know that, hey, okay, I remember on Sunday at 11:59, this essay assignment is due, right? Post it on your announcement board in your learning management system that you use. Okay, make sure that you just say, hey, just post a quick announcement. Hey, don't forget that the assignment one is due, or the essay is due, right? So yeah, so that's as far as the cons go, this is a way that you could actually make those cons into, or work with those cons, making sure that you be proactive in your approach with asynchronous learning. And I believe, yeah. Okay, so the next slide, she has ideas, tips, and tools, and I'm not going to get into all of that. I do want to show you for planning, because she had a list. Okay, so technology resources. So with our district, A-Leaf ISD, we use Schoology. Okay. Definitely, if you're trying to do synchronous learning, I know for a fact that Nearpod right now they're offering for Nearpod. Well, sorry, for asynchronous learning, Nearpod is actually offering student pace mode up until April 30th. Okay. Um, let's see, YouTube Easy Interactive Tools, how to use. There's a link for that. But we have Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle, you can create your own videos where your students can actually access, which is pretty cool. And then Pear Deck. Pear Deck actually has a student page. So Pear Deck is a Google add-on. So it's a Google Slide add-on. And basically, if you are a user of Google Slides or PowerPoint, it makes those slides interactive with questions, and you can give it, you can make a student pace mode. So these are a few of the few technology resources that you can use in your synchronous or asynchronous online classroom. Okay. But definitely, oh, and I didn't even see this part. I'm sorry. She has a breakdown of like synchronous sessions and then also simple compound complex sentences. So we're discussing compounds. Cool. But yeah, so that's something to think about when you are approaching your next unit online. Think about how you want that to be set up. Okay, do you feel that synchronous would be effective for your classroom, or do you feel that asynchronous would be effective for your classroom? Okay. So please like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any questions about asynchronous or synchronous learning, please comment below. I don't know which way, but comment below and just give your input, because this is a tech talk and I really want to have a conversation about what approach is best for students as of now in this situation. As of now, what approach is best for students? Okay, so again, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching.